There is a group of knights who protect the kingdom of Britannia called the Holy Knights. But one day, dozens of holy knights died in one night. It turned out that what killed them was a group of knights called the Seven Deadly Sins. And now the members of the Seven Deadly Sins are the most wanted fugitives. 10 years later, the member of the Seven Deadly Sins is still a fugitive. Posters of their faces have been circulated all over the country. The scene shows a boy guarding a bar. He along with his pet named Hawk. He heard the news that an Iron Knight suspected of being a member of the Seven Deadly Sins was in his territory. The Iron Knight came to the bar. It turned out that the Iron Knight was not a member of the Seven Deadly Sins. And she was a woman named Elizabeth. Then the royal soldiers came to the bar to look for the Iron Knight. The boy ran off with Elizabeth. Royal soldiers summoned a knight named Twigo to capture Elizabeth. It turns out that Elizabeth is the daughter of the king of the British Empire. Elizabeth fled from the kingdom because the Holy Knights wanted to destroy the kingdom of Britannia. Therefore Elizabeth wants to find members of the Seven Deadly Sins so that she can defeat the Holy Knight. Because of that, Twigo immediately attacked Elizabeth. Elizabeth thought that she would die. But the boy helped Elizabeth. It turned out that the boy was the most dangerous person in the world. Because he is the leader of the group of Seven Deadly Sins. And his name is Meliodas. Meliodas instantly beat Twigo with ease. Then Meliodas went with Elizabeth. Elizabeth is very happy because she managed to meet the members of the Seven Deadly Sins. It turned out that Twigo was still alive. He reported to the other Holy Knights. If the most dangerous person in the kingdom has been found. Each member of the Seven Deadly Sins has their own nickname. And Meliodas is dubbed the Wrath Sins. This time Meliodas and Elizabeth will go to another city to find the other members of the Seven Deadly Sins. They will go up the walking bar which is controlled by Hawk's mother. But they had to stop at a village to buy supplies of bars. It turned out that the village was hit by a drought. This is caused by the sword stuck in the Holy Knight. The citizens tried to pull out the sword but nothing worked. Meliodas came to the place and drew the sword with ease. The water in the river finally flows again. In the night, the Holy Knight attacked the village. Meliodas was able to prevent the Holy Knight's attack. After that, Meliodas continued his journey. Meliodas and Elizabeth now go to a place called the Sleeping Forest. Because they heard rumors that one of the members of the Seven Deadly Sins was in that place. Finally they arrived at the place. And they met the sin of envy named Deinia. Deinia is a giant. She was very happy to be reunited with Meliodas. Then a holy knight named Gowther attacked them. Gowther traps Meliodas and Deinia. But Meliodas is fine. Then Deinia beat the Gowther. And they continued their journey. They will go to a place called Based Prison. Because they heard rumors that members of the Seven Deadly Sins were in that place. But on the way Meliodas got sick. Therefore they have to take care of Meliodas. And suddenly a swarm of deadly bees attacked the city. All the people were scared. Deinia managed to defeat the deadly bee. It turned out to be the work of the holy knight named Frisia. Elizabeth tries to protect Meliodas. But a holy knight named Golgius attacked them. The scene shows a member of the Seven Deadly Sins nicknamed the Greedy Sins named Bon trying to escape from prison. He fought a knight named Jericho. Golgius wants to take Meliodas' sword. But suddenly Meliodas recovered. And he attacked Golgius. Golgius fled in fright. Meliodas chases Golgius. And Meliodas managed to beat Golgius. Meliodas and Elizabeth continue their journey to Basti's prison. There they met Deinia. Deinia suddenly attacked Meliodas. It turns out that Deinia is being controlled by the holy knight named Ruin. Ruin also controls Meliodas. Deinia and Meliodas also fight. There is a holy knight named Jude trying to prevent Bon from escaping from prison. When Meliodas and Deinia fight, Frisia attacks Elizabeth. But Elizabeth did not give up. Elizabeth managed to resuscitate Meliodas and Deinia. Deinia beat Frisia easily. And Meliodas beat Ruin. Meliodas' punch is very strong. Meliodas made Ruin fly all the way to Based prison. Meliodas finally got to the prison of Based. Elsewhere, Bon manages to defeat Jude. Meliodas goes into Basti's prison. The holy knights put up an impenetrable shield. So that Meliodas is trapped in that place. Meliodas finally meets Bon. They were both very happy. And they do arm wrestling to test their strength. As they arm wrestle, the shield installed in Basti's prison shatters. Because they are both too strong. Bon has an immortal body, which makes him immortal. And now Meliodas and his friends continue their journey. They are now going to the capital of death. The scene shows Bon's past, who wanted to take the death potion. But he was prevented by a fairy girl named Elaine. Returning to the present, they finally arrived at the capital of death. Suddenly someone attacks Bon. That person has a grudge against me, Bon. But Bon didn't know the person. It turned out that he was one of the members of the 7 deadly sins, nicknamed the sin of laziness, which was named King. Bon is shocked to know that. Because the king used to have a fat body. And now King was thin. But they all suddenly moved to another place. It turned out that they had entered the real capital of death. The scene shows the past when Bon was with Elaine. Bon decides not to take the elixir of immortality because he is in love with Elaine. But suddenly came a demon who attacked the place. The demon left Elaine badly injured. Because of that, Elaine gave the elixir of immortality to Bon. And Bon finally defeated the demon. Back to the present. It turns out that Elaine is the king's sister. King suspects that Bon killed Elaine. That's why the king wanted revenge against Bon. King turns Bon into stone so Bon can't move. Then suddenly a knight named Gilla attacked them. Meliodas and Diane also fight with Gilla. Suddenly Elaine's spirit appears to help Bon. And the king finally realized that Bon was innocent. An angry king fights with Gilla. And he managed to beat Gilla easily. After that they all came out of the death capital. Elsewhere it is shown that the Holy Knights of the Leon's Kingdom managed to defeat the bandits. It turns out that the Holy Knights of the Leon's Kingdom are preparing to carry out a holy war. The Holy Knights of the Leon's Kingdom are led by Dreyfus and Hendrickson. Dreyfus orders Gilthunder and a Holy Knight named Hauser to capture Meliodas. Elsewhere, Hendrickson gives Jericho and Twigo demonic powers. Move to the place of Meliodas. King is angry with the other members of the 7 deadly sins. Because they had all lost their holy weapons. Whereas if there is no holy weapon, their strength will be weak. This time they heard that Diania's holy weapon was a gift for a fighting festival. That's why Meliodas, Bon and King joined the tournament. They disguised themselves by using other names. Meanwhile, Elizabeth and Diania explored the forest. They met a poisonous mushroom in that place. The qualifying round begins. Meliodas, Bon, and King can win easily. And now comes the main chapter. A holy knight named Griamore fights against the woman in the hat. Griamore was shocked to know that the woman in the hat was so strong. And the woman in the hat was able to win easily. It turned out that the woman in the hat was Diania. Diania's body became small due to being exposed to poisonous mushrooms. The next match, the holy knight named Hauser managed to win. Then King fought with someone named Cain. But the king is not allowed to use weapons. King fights bare-handed. It turns out that King is very weak when fighting with his bare hands. And King lost easily. The next fight is Meliodas against Bon. Their battle was fierce. Even the battlefield was destroyed by their power. Bon almost won. But Meliodas suddenly released his secret power. And Meliodas finally won. The next match is between Diania and Hausers. Hauser is very optimistic to win. But Diania was too strong and she was able to win easily. The next match is between Cain and Meliodas. It turns out that Cain was Meliodas' friend when he was a knight. Cain is very happy that Meliodas is still alive. And Cain gave up against Meliodas. And Meliodas wins. Now comes the final battle between Meliodas and Diania. But suddenly someone attacked the villagers. Turns out they were Jericho and Gilla. They both have now obtained demonic powers from Hendrickson. Therefore they dared to attack the 7 deadly sins. They are all fighting now. But the members of the 7 deadly sins are too strong. They managed to win easily. Elizabeth tries to escape. There he met his sister, Veronica. Veronica leaves with Griamore. Veronica tries to catch Elizabeth. Move to the member of the 7 deadly sins. King tries to kill Jericho and Gilla. But there is someone to help them. He is a holy knight named Helbram. Helbram treats Jericho and Gilla. Then Gilla managed to steal Meliodas' weapon. Then Gilla tried to kill Elizabeth. Veronica doesn't know that the holy knight wants to kill Elizabeth. That's why Veronica helps Elizabeth. Veronica is seriously injured. Meliodas got angry seeing that. And he gave off a mysterious power. Everyone gets scared seeing Meliodas. Meliodas is now very strong. He fought against Helbram. But Helbram still withstood the attack. It turned out that Helbram got the help of strength from the other holy knights. But Bon suddenly ran scared. It turned out that Bon saw Diane, who had obtained her holy weapon. Diania finally let out a real shock to attack Helbram. The whole place was destroyed by Diania's power. And the fight is finally over. But Helmram managed to escape. Meliodas became sad about the fight earlier. And Meliodas is determined to be more serious in the future. This time, a green-haired man was shown taking care of an injured armored giant. Elsewhere, Meliodas and his friends are hiding in the forest. They wanted to rest after the previous fight. While they were hunting, they saw several seriously injured people. That person said that the Holy Knight group called Dawn Roar was fighting against the armored giants. Hearing that, Meliodas thought that the armored giant was one of the members of the 7 deadly sins named Gowther. They went straight to the place. Meliodas, Bon, and King fight against the members of Dawn Roar to protect Gowther. But suddenly a green-haired man came to the place. It turned out that the man was a Gowther. Meliodas was surprised to see Gowther there. Because Meliodas thought that the armored giant was Gowther. It turned out that Gowther gave his armor to someone else. Then the Dawn Roar army still wanted to kill the armored giant. And suddenly Gowther killed the armored giant. Dawn Roar members immediately left. And suddenly the armored giant came back to life. It turned out that he was a former member of the Holy Knight who had turned into a demon. Meliodas, Bon, King, and Gowther fought against the armored giant. They managed to kill the armored giant. But he came back to life. Then Gowther cast illusion magic to the armored giant. Moved to another place. Cain comes to visit Meliodas' bar. There was Elizabeth who was guarding the bar. Cain said that Meliodas was a former captain of the Holy Knights of the Danifer Kingdom. Meliodas also has a girlfriend named Liz. Liz's face is very similar to Elizabeth's. Then Cain gave me the sword that Meliodas used in the Danifer Kingdom. After that Elizabeth went to Meliodas' place. Elizabeth gave the sword to Meliodas. Meliodas is now more enthusiastic. And he managed to defeat the armored giant. Before dying, the armored giant thanked Gowther. Because Gowther has taken care of him. Meliodas thanked Cain, because Cain had brought his sword. Then Cain left. Gowther agreed to join the Meliodas group. And they will get ready to face the Holy Knights of the Leon's Kingdom. The scene shows the Leon's Kingdom. Helbram managed to get the sword of Meliodas. He performed the demon summoning ritual together with Hendrickson. They will resurrect the demon clan in order to defeat the members of the 7 deadly sins. Move to the place of Meliodas. Suddenly a holy knight kidnaps Elizabeth and Hawk. Meliodas got angry. And he will strike directly at the Leon's Kingdom. Meliodas told Diania to throw herself and the others. They finally arrived at the Leon's Kingdom. And the encounter between the 7 deadly sins against the knights of the Leonese Kingdom finally begins. The switching scene shows Dreyfus and Hendrickson. They were shocked to get the news that members of the 7 deadly sins attacked the kingdom. Plus they got a report that the king of the Camelot Kingdom brought troops to the Leon's Kingdom. It turned out that the one who came was the king of the Camelot Kingdom. His name is Arthur. He said if he had brought someone to treat the Leonese king's illness. But Hendrickson wasn't happy with that. Hendrickson tries to kill Arthur. And they fight. Elsewhere, Elizabeth and Hawk are being held in the Leon's Kingdom's prison. Meliodas, Bon, and Gowther managed to enter the Leon's Kingdom. They defeated many holy knights. Diania came late to the Leon's Kingdom. But he was trapped by the holy knights. Even there wrote Dreyfus. He and the other members of the holy knights used extremely powerful magic to defeat Diania. And Dreyfus managed to get Diania seriously injured. It turned out that Diania couldn't fight seriously, because Diania was fighting while protecting the residents. Seeing that, the Hauser decided to help Diania. Gilla also helps Diania. Because Diania had protected her brother. And they fought against Dreyfus' group. Moved to prison. Elizabeth met her sister, Margaret. She is also in prison. Elizabeth asked Margaret to run away. Suddenly a holy knight Vivian came to their place. Hawk tries to protect Elizabeth. But he was taken to a mysterious place. Elsewhere, Gilla almost died. Luckily Gowther came to Gilla's rescue. Gowther fights Dreyfus. Gowther manages to injure Dreyfus. But Gowther stuck. And Gowther finally lost. King finally arrived at the place. King was very angry to see his friends who were injured. Helbram attacks the king. And they both fight. Turns out Helbram is a fairy. King was shocked to see that. Because the king is the former leader of the fairy tribe. The scene shows the king's past. At that time, the king lost his memory. And he met a giant girl. That girl is Dionia. They both live together. And fall in love with each other. But one day the king heard the news that a fairy killed a human. It turned out that the fairy was Helbram. King finally got his memories back. King is a fairy leader who ran away due to some problem. Because of that many fairies who live suffer. Because they lost their leader. Even many fairies were kidnapped. Helbram got a lot of torments from humans. That's why Helbram killed many humans. Then the king apologized. And king killed Helbram. After that the king returned to Dionia's place. King erased Dionia's memories of being with king. A few days later, king was arrested. King is considered negligent to lead the fairies. And king earned the nickname the Sin of the Lazy. Back to the present. King fought back with Helbram. It turned out that the Helbram was brought back to life by the Holy Knight. And king again killed Helbram. Because king doesn't want Helbram to live in misery. Moved to Arthur's place. He almost lost against Hendrickson. Luckily Meliodas came to help. Then Meliodas fights against Hendrickson. The scene shows the past of the Gilthunder. Turns out Gilthunder was a student of Meliodas. But now the Gilthunder's memory is being controlled. That's why the Gilthunder attacked Meliodas. Back to the present. Gilthunder tells Vivian to take him to Meliodas' place. At another place, Elizabeth finally met her father named Bartra. And Margaret also managed to escape. Gilthunder also fights with Meliodas. Their battle was fierce. But Meliodas is superior. And suddenly the Gilthunder attacked Hendrickson. Turns out the Gilthunder's memory has returned. But Gilthunder pretends to lose his memory because he wants to fight against Meliodas. See that. Vivian got angry. She casts a very powerful magic. But the magic was prevented by someone. Move to Hawk's place. Bon also comes to the place. It turned out that in that place there was a trumpet belonging to the goddess clan. Bon asks the goddess to bring Elaine back to life. But the goddess gave one condition to the Tyres. The goddess tells Bon to kill Meliodas. Move to another place. It turns out that what prevents Vivian's magic is a member of the 7 deadly sins named Merlin. Then Merlin brought Meliodas and his friends to King Bartra's place. Meliodas was finally able to meet again with Elizabeth. In that place Dreyfus apologized Bartra, because he and Hendrickson had killed the previous leader of the Holy Knights named Zaratros. But Dreyfus didn't know that Hendrickson had teamed up with the devil. Dreyfus apologized. And King Bartra forgave Dreyfus. And he punished Dreyfus. Then Merlin and Arthur took King Bartra to the Camelot Kingdom for treatment. After that suddenly the Holy Knights turned into demons. Gowther prevents Gilla from changing. But the other Holy Knights still turned into demons. Hendrickson has also bounced back. This time he became younger. Hendrickson also revived the Helbram. The members of the 7 deadly sins fight with the demons. Then Bon came to the place. And Bon attacks Meliodas. Bon suspects that Meliodas is a demon. They also fought. Bon manages to make Meliodas seriously injured. Then Hawk came to their place. Hawk tried to resuscitate Bon. And Bon decided not to kill Meliodas. Because Bon still believes that Meliodas is good. Bon joins the fight against the demons. Bon finds an easy way to defeat the demon. The trick is to separate their bodies. King fought back with Helbram. King was very sad to see the suffering Helbram. King ends up killing Helbram. Dawn Roar members also help defeat the demons. Dreyfus tries to stop Hendrickson. And they both fight. But Hendrickson was too strong. Dreyfus lost easily. Hendrickson also hurt Elizabeth. Meliodas got angry seeing that. And he fought Hendrickson. The members of the other 7 deadly sins also came to help Meliodas. And there was a fight between the 5 members of the 7 deadly sins against Hendrickson. They managed to beat Hendrickson easily. Hendrickson ran away. Bon realized that Hendrickson wanted to revive the demon. And thereafter Hendrickson. Turns out they were late. And Hendrickson managed to join forces with the devil. Hendrickson's form has now turned into a demon. And Hendrickson's power is very strong. The Holy Knights who had awakened were fighting Hendrickson. But they lost. Dawn Roar's army also attacked Hendrickson. And they lost too. Even Hendrickson also defeated the members of the 7 deadly sins. Hendrickson would cast high-level magic to kill them all. Hawk came to the place. Hawk tried to absorb the magic for himself. And Hawk is dead. The members of the 7 deadly sins were very sad to see that. Elizabeth was also very sad. Suddenly a light appeared from Elizabeth's body. The light healed everyone who was in that place. Elizabeth's eyes also changed. The recovered holy knights fought back with Hendrickson. And all the members of the 7 deadly sins are now serious. They're going to take revenge on Hendrickson. The fight begins. But Hendrickson was still too strong. Meliodas plans to combine all the powers of the 7 deadly sins. And the plan yielded a very powerful force. And finally the attack managed to defeat Hendrickson. After that, Merlin brought the healed King Bartra to their place. Bartra officially says that all members of the 7 deadly sins are innocent. And they can all be free now. But the members of the 7 deadly sins are still sad. Because Hawk died. Suddenly smoke appeared on Hawk's body. Turns out Hawk came back to life. But his body became small. They were all very happy that Hawk was still alive. After that everyone party. The next day, the members of the 7 deadly sins continue their journey. This video ends here. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support me.